Today, I'm going to guide you on how to configure TP-Link access point or MADA TP-Link access point. cep220 12 dpi, you have the 9 dpi and so on. So this particular version is 3.0 cep220 access point TP-Link. I wanted to use it for my Starlink networking for a client. You understand? You can still configure it with any router available. Now, some of these access points, you can configure it with your phone when you download the application on your phone from Google Play Store or Apple Store. But these particular ones, you can only configure it with your laptop. You cannot configure it with a phone. You understand? So this is an outdoor device. You understand? As you can see, it's an outdoor device. You can still put it indoor. But the essence of being outdoor is because it's water resistant. You cannot carry indoor and go and put outside and expect it to stay when the rain comes. You understand? Okay, when you open the carton, see what you're going to see. The Omada CEP Link 220. This is how it looks like. Now, this one is the PoE adapter or the PoE injector. This is the power. Now, one of these ports is labeled PoE, one is labeled LAN. So how do you connect it? You connect the power, then get a LAN cable. See this LAN cable. You connect the PoE to the PoE port of the get your access point. This is how it looks like. Now watch closely under. I have to remove this cover now. Open the cover. This cover is actually to prevent water from entering inside because this is an outdoor device, meaning that you are going to keep it outside. It's water resistant because there is no way water will penetrate. Now watch closely. This is the PoE port. The first LAN port is the PoE port. You understand? That is the port that will power the access point and at the same time gives it internet connection. Then the second one, once this access point has internet connection, the second port can actually give out internet connection, probably to another access point that is not PoE, or probably to a router or a switch. You understand? But we'll still make use of the LAN ports for configuration. That is the LAN 1. Now watch closely. You connect your Ethernet cable, you understand, the Cassis cable, to this PoE port, to that of the PoE port of the switch. That is if you are making use of PoE switch, like this guy here. This switch, as you can see, is written PoE. Is the 8-port switch. But I don't want to make use of this guy for this explanation. There is a reason I don't want to make this guy. But if I decide to connect this guy to this guy, it's gonna power it. Now this is my PoE adapter or PoE injector, whatever you call it. It came with the access point like I explained earlier. You understand? So this guy here, what you have to do is to get your LAN cable. When you get your LAN cable, look at it. It has two ports, the PoE port and the LAN port. This PoE port is for giving the access point power and Ethernet. So what are you going to do? You are going to connect this PoE port from there to the access point PoE port. I don't know that you get me. Like this is my LAN cable. I connected this LAN cable to the PoE adapter. Then the other end to my PoE port of the access point. PoE is already powered on. It's still booting. You understand? Look at it. This is the PoE port. That is what is powering it. So this access point has not gotten internet, either from my switch or my router. You understand? Configuration, because this is a new access point. It is not just plug and play. You must do some configuration. Look at it. I'm going to connect a cable here, a Cassis cable, from this LAN 1 to my system in order to configure it. This guy here was connected from the LAN 1 port of the access point. Look at it. If you remember so well, I told you that the LAN 1 port, I'm going to use it for the configuration of the system. You understand? I told you earlier on, this access point does not have any written IP address on the body, but it do have an IP address that is embedded inside and you cannot see. It is embedded by default, which is 192.168.0.254. So in order for you to configure this access point, you have to configure with your laptop system or any computer system around you, but you must make sure that the computer system is on the same IP range with that of the access point. You know, every device that is connected on internet must have a unique IP address, but they must be on the same network range. You understand? So what you do now is to go to your computer system, your settings, go to your network adapter settings and change the IPv4 to that of the same range with that of your access point. Next step is to change your PC IP address to static IP address that will be in the same network range with that of the access point. Like I told you, access point default IP address is 192.168.254. So, but you have to make sure that your PC is on static IP address that is in the same network range with that of the access point. So you have to go to your adapter settings, your network adapter settings, and change it. So I go here, I go to Ethernet, change adapter settings, then because I'm using Ethernet, go to IPv4. So before now, I've already changed it to static. Before normally it has to be on automatic IP so that you can get automatic IP whenever it connects to the internet. But for this video, you are going to make it to be on static IP. You understand? So normally I have already done it earlier on. I have been activating some access points. So if you watch here, you see that this, okay, I'm not going to use 254 because there will be an IP conflict. So let me use .10. Watch closely. 192.168.0.10. That is my static IP address for this system. That is my static IP address for this system. Then I will validate all settings and save. Your Chrome page or your Google page. Remember, I told you must set your IP address of your PC to a static IP address that must be in the same network range with that of your access point, and your access point IP address is 192.168.0.254. So if you go and set your PC to 192.168.0.254, there will be an IP conflict. You cannot see your access point. So you can choose .10.11. Any network, any IP address, but they must be on the same network range. So when you go to your Google, you type 192.168. That is the IP address of your access point .0.254. So this is my IP address for my router. You understand? Now watch, they are telling me that the connection is private. Of course, you go down, proceed anyway. As you can see, this is the interface. I've been able to access this guy. So normal, your username is admin, password admin, all in capital letter. So in region here, you can't see Nigeria here. I don't know why. Nigeria is not here. But either you use UK or USA. Well, I decided to use USA for reason best known to me. You can see every other African country, some. So you agree to their terms and conditions and log in. Then you must create your own password. So for the sake of my client, ROBH Estate and Homes, the number 1 estate home in Oka, Anambra State. Let me use his name to activate it. So I have successfully logged in. As you can see now, I've logged in. You must make sure that you leave it on access point. This device does multi-function. It can function as a router, giving its own IP address to devices successfully logged in onto it. But in this case, I don't want it to be giving IP address. I want the Starlink router to be the only router on the network giving IP address. So because of that, I must make sure that the DHCP is disabled and it must be on access point. So it's already on access point by default. So I have to check all network configurations. So see this guy now. There is nothing much to be done here. I have to leave my connection to be static so that whenever the Starlink on, it will send this guy this particular IP address. Because the Starlink still need, this device still need an IP address to connect to the Starlink. Now, I'm going to change the network name. Or maybe for this purpose, let me leave it. No, I need to change it. RBH Estate. That is the number 1 real estate in Oka. So forget about the password. I'm going to give you a password that I like later on. So there is nothing you will do. There is nothing much you have to do. Just probably want to give it a name. When you are done, you save. That is the wireless, the Wi-Fi. If you want to give it a name, you give it a name, your own name. If you want to give it a password, you give it a password. But in this case, I don't want to do it. So let me just check all parameters. You need to open the interface before you can be able to connect it to a network device, either a router or a switch, before this guy can be able to work. You must create, it's just like you are creating an account. The username and password you created there shows that you already opened this guy. Without this guy cannot work. If you just get it new and plug it, it cannot work till you create it. Then if you want to check any parameter, then you can change. But in this case, I'm not changing anything there. It's already there as it's supposed to be. You understand? So when you are done, you just have to pull it out and connect to your device. It will start working. Go to the internet now. I need to connect it to a router or a switch that is connected to a router. So what you have to do now is to connect it to a router. So you watch me. I'll do the connection and test run it to know that it's already working. How to give this guy an internet connection. Remember what I told you? This access point can still make use of PoE switch without using this guy. If you have a PoE switch that really gives out power, not all PoE switches do give out power. Some of them are copy products. When you get it, you can only send out internet signal but no power. So if you want to get a PoE switch, I advise you to get a TP-Link PoE switch or probably a Cisco PoE switch or ONV. That is the 3 products that I make use of. There are some product that I get in the market, it doesn't give out power. So in order for you to be on the safer side, I always advise my audience to make use of the PoE adapter this access point came with. Make use of the PoE adapter it came with. So this guy, for you to get internet connection, you have to connect an internet cable to this LAN port. Watch. To this LAN port of the PoE adapter. Then the other end to your router. If you have a switch that already has internet, you can still connect it to the switch. But for this tutorial, I'm going to use the LAN port of the router. This is my Airtel router. As you can see, is my Airtel router. Is already connected to the internet because I have an Airtel SIM card. So I connect this guy to the PoE adapter. I connected it to the PoE adapter for it to get a network, an internet network. So let's take a look at our access point to know whether it's already connected to the internet. This guy is already on the internet. This guy is already on the internet, is connected successfully. So this LAN port, this LAN 1 port I was talking to you about, as this guy CEP is already on the internet, and I want to supply another device, just the internet connection, I can connect my Cat6 cable from here probably to another PC, and you get internet connection immediately. Instead of you probably a situation whereby your PoE switch are filled up and you don't have any other place to get it, you can make use of this guy. But just know that your network on that device would be dependent on this guy. Okay, that is all for now, but I want to remind you something. All these access points, you cannot be able to connect it to your phone when it doesn't get an IP address from your router. What am I trying to say? Even if you are done configuring these access points, not just this one, any other access point, there is an access point mode, and you want to connect the Wi-Fi to your phone, you can see the Wi-Fi quite alright after the configuration. But when you try to connect, it's not going to connect. You keep on looking for IP address. That is to tell you that there is no router connected to it. It's only a router that can be able to give it an IP address. Sure, you understand the point? Especially when it's on access point mode, because in the default setting, it will be on access point mode. So when you try to connect, you are not going to see anything. Let me show you an example. No internet connection on this guy. If you watch now, I've disconnected it. No internet connection. And it's still powered on. I watch this guy. It's on, still yet. There's no internet connection. Watch these LAN ports, the LAN 1 and LAN 0. The lights are faint to show that there is no internet connection. So when I connect it back, you are going to see an IP address. But because there is no internet connected through the router, it's not going to see any IP address. So when you try to on your data and forget, your access point can actually give devices connected to it IP address. But you have to make sure that it's being disabled, because two masters cannot be in the same ship. You cannot have your router connected to your access point giving IP address and your access point is giving IP address. So normally the default setting is always disabled, the DHCP. You have to go and disable it so that your router will not be giving IP address. But sometimes it can be on, you wouldn't know. So what happens is that after a few seconds that it's connected to the internet, some of the devices will stop getting internet connection because there is an IP conflict. So make sure that your cep220 has its DHCP disabled, meaning that it cannot give out IP address. You just have to connect to the CEP Wi-Fi in order to get IP address from the router. So I will show you how to go through it and make sure, so that it's not when you are done with the job, after a few seconds or few minutes or some hours, your client calls you back that so phones cannot be able to go into internet. Automatically is your fault. I have successfully logged in back, so I need to confirm if this access point has the DHCP enabled. So go to the network settings. You understand? As you can see now, the DHCP is not enabled. When I enable it, what it means that this access point will be able to be giving out IP address. So in this setup, you don't need it to give out IP address. It is only your router that will be able to give out IP address. Unless you want to go and disable the DHCP of your router and enable that of your access point. That is the only way you can do that. Two masters can never be in the same ship. You understand? So, but due to the Starlink, there is no way you can disable its DHCP. There is no setup for it. So it's automatically, it's already there. So there is nothing you can do about it. But if I'm using my Airtel router now, I can be able to disable the DHCP and allow my access point to be the only device that will be giving IP address. So you have to take note of that so that you don't have IP conflict.